Welcome back. This is a short class about Mercury in signs. And I'm saying it's short because Mercury cycle is short. It's passing very quickly in one sign, and every 3 months will retrograde and will stay for 2 to 3 months in one sign. So Mercury is a personal planet, is the closest to the sun as we understood, and it's the ruler of Gemini. Mercury is ruling communication and what is happening in the trade and the debate in the world and it's in each individual. So Mercury is so fast like the velocity of our thoughts, the velocity of our ideas, that we may have a lot of ideas, and this is a big gap between our ability to perform them, right? So all the news that we are reading every day that is just telling rumors, this is going to be this, is going to be this. Not always what you read is what is really going to happen. This is what we learn with experience of life, and we need to be flexible and to connect the dots. Sometimes news that you saw a year ago or 5 years ago come aligned with another book that you read and another news that comes now. So because Mercury movement is not straight, as we learned, is something that you always need to see the fluctuation of the news, but to be smart enough to connect the dots. The smart enough is related to Jupiter, that is the opposite archetype of Mercury, and actually the opposite. Um, Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, so Sagittarius is the opposite of Gemini. So why I'm saying to connect the dots, because Jupiter is like the judge that already connecting all the evidence from Mercury that represents lawyers, a lot of explanation and versions of different of the same story. So I'm not looking on Mercury very seriously in order to predict the markets, but I learned from Mercury about the environment, because Mercury Gemini is ruling the environment, through what's the noise, what's in the news, what's in the topic. So just to say a few words about Mercury in each sign, we start to notice that the archetypes are repeating in all structures as we are going. Mercury in Aries, we understand that we are speaking about news about war, news about entrepreneurship, about new ideas, new desire, new intention, and it's usually creating FOMO or creating environment like, yeah, we can do this, we plan to do this. Mercury in Taurus will be already more cautious and will try to promise things that is like checked. Mercury in Venus in the sign of Venus in Taurus needs to give more receipts, but because Taurus is a slow sign, it's Earth. Mercury needs to work with cautious by showing result or consequences, or that he can pay the due to the promise and the idea. Mercury in Gemini is where we can have craziness of fluctuation of ideas and situation. Mercury is in its home sign, is noisy. The news are confusing, can sound one time that is cold, one time that is warm, and things feels like that they are splitting. Mercury in Cancer feels more time to protect, doing strategy. It's not the ideal time because it's combined with a lot of emotions. Need to protect from fear and to explain the obvious in a way. Isn't very much helping the environment, but is all about decoration, ideas about how decorating the home, how to improve relationship in the family, and in domestic area, papers in domestic areas, speaking about residencies, concept, etc. Mercury in Leo is more about ideas, what we can do, what is my passion. So we could find a lot of events relate to powerful structures, governments, companies, ideas about what I love doing, finding new circles, new friends, new allies. It's more social, more creating allies that are from your lines. And it's also creating a positive environment in the collective, but also a lot of ego and drama, and can create a lot of news that are dramatic, right? Usually we have it around the summer, this environment. Mercury in Virgo works very well, is sort of a go back to the routine. Mercury in Virgo at the time of how we are making our ideas functional. We can show receipts for what we've promised, what we showed that we can, that we're capable of. And it's creating more cautious activities, but also coping with enemies and solutions to complicated situation. It's like start bringing the solution, the idea solutions. And during this month of Mercury in Virgo, we may see more of suggestions, solutions. And sometimes the solutions could be dramatic because of what initiated in the month prior to this, Mercury in Leo. Mercury in Libra try to bring agreement, and it will be more about agreement and contracts that part of the solution that were made in the Virgo time suddenly come on the table, and is a diplomatic relationship, very much to communicate and to sort of arriving to a status quo, if possible, through the promises that happened when Mercury was in Taurus, and to the solution that when Mercury was in Virgo. Then in Libra, it's like, okay, we have the agreement, we are going to do this, this, and this, and this. Then Mercury comes to Scorpio, and it's another level of drama, because suddenly out of the status quo and the sort of agreement, we are seeing a need for change. And the need for change isn't very comfortable in the collective, but Mercury is dealing very well with change. But the changes of Scorpio, ruled by Pluto, are very overwhelming for Gemini because they are deep. And Mercury doesn't like to go deep. Mercury likes to be on the surface, like quick changes. Suddenly the changes are deep and requiring more commitment, requiring more vulnerability, and requiring more of compromising. Then after the process of Mercury in Scorpio, sort of a crisis, and a crisis is also opportunity. Why? Because the sign after Scorpio is Sagittarius, and Sagittarius really offering the opportunity. So out of crisis, we're getting opportunity. Uh, Mercury in Sagittarius feels lost. Out of crisis, Mercury specifically will feel lost. Suddenly, many options. So, okay, I was blocked doing this, this was broken. So, what I'm doing now, I have this, I have this, I have this. If Mercury did the right process, or a person used the timeline of Mercury in other signs, we can connect the dots from what happened 6 months prior to this, when Mercury was in Gemini, when things splitted and started showing us the option. When Mercury is in Sagittarius, we start finding truth. So what is the truth right now? And we may see a lot of politics news with revelation or unveiling of some corruption that happened when Mercury was in Scorpio, and many things that related to court and to judgment and to justice in the world. Mercury in Capricorn feels a little bit frustrated, and it's very much about building strategies. We may see um, that is all about regulation, the trade, regulating the agreement, regulating how making deals done. Um, and it could be very frustrating because it's taking out the flexibility, but requiring Mercury and all what is related to Mercury, contract war, our words, integrity, contracts, to be in integrity and to comply with our integrity, and not specifically the integrity of government if it's not divinely projected. Then Mercury in Aquarius, we may see new ideas, a lot of news from NASA, a lot of news from space, a lot of news and innovation, startup technologies, new people, new networks, more crypto, more options, how we are going to do this, how we are doing a new version. All the versions of apps may usually come around this time. No, even the apps are coming usually Mercury in Scorpio, Mercury in Sagittarius, interestingly enough, because they are coming around October, November. But Mercury in Aquarius is where the innovation is happening, even under the scene, by offering and the gathering of with new people, with new ideas, is very much the theme. Mercury in Pisces is the lost of mind. This is again confusion, but confusion that is where the media can hypnotize the idea, because Mercury is also the media, is all what the news will be related to pharma, will be related to drugs, will to jails, to things that are happening under the veil, beyond corruption. This is a place where very poor people, very bad people, all the drug dealers are related with this place, and the news about those far and isolated and down of the road stories are lying down. It's also an invitation for a purge and how, what to do and how to clean the environment before Mercury to start a new cycle back to Aries. I will see you in the next class speaking about Venus in science.